The thing I loved about it is she was one of the friends that gave you that belly laugh. She'd have you in stitches. Every time you were out with her, she was hilarious. She was extremely loyal. You were drained. After spending a week with her, you were tired. But you'd had the best week.
Yeah. I mean, she was so vibrant, so full of life, and then this terrible cancer diagnosis, Kelly. When did you all know about it? Because obviously we heard about it through the newspapers and the news, but when did she tell you all?
We got a phone call from India, from Big Brother, from her, to tell us that she had cancer. She was obviously really emotional and we was all completely shocked. You know, don't expect your friend to call you to say. But because of Jade being Jade and sometimes mixing her words or getting things wrong, I sort of hoped that she got it wrong and it was all... she'd misunderstood the doctors or something like that, we hoped.
Obviously, I think it'd be as serious.
No, we never thought it would be as serious. We thought maybe it was just precancerous cells or something. We didn't realise how...
She knew that the news was bad, Caroline, but she was absolutely determined to marry her then boyfriend, Jack, and she gathered you all together and she had her jobs for you, didn't she? She was determined she wanted this dream wedding. What was that like for you? Because when you're best friends and you're planning, you know, whether it's a hen do or a wedding, it's a joyous occasion for most of us. It's a happy day, and you wanted to make it a happy day for her, but underlying that was this huge sadness, thinking, well, we don't know how much longer she's got.
It was bittersweet because sort of the start to the end, and looking at Jack, it was just devastating because you always go to a wedding and you see they've got their life ahead of them, children, and all the great times that married couples have. To know that for him, it was weeks away from when she was going to pass away. So she was a bridezilla anyway. She was very bossy. We all have day jobs, so we were all... our phones were going, you need to... And she said to me, you need to just have the week off. I said, sorry? She said, just tell your boss. She said, let me speak to him. And I said, no, it doesn't really work like that. She said, just pass the phone. And I said, no, it's OK. And she said, well, book the week off, then you can just concentrate on my wedding. And I was like, oh, OK, then.
You know, the photograph that sticks in my mind is all of you in your bald caps.
She said to me, you don't need to because you've got big ears, so you'll look really bad. But she did. She seriously wanted us to at one
And we
stage.
promised her we'd shave our heads because we never thought, again, we just never thought it would come.
No.
And then
well, I want to ask Charlene, what was the wedding day actually like?
Oh, it was so...
Give me some snapshots. Of,
there was an incident where we had the singing waiters, and where she didn't organise anything, and she was so surprised by them, she tried to shout out to us, I did do something, they're from me. And then after they'd finished, like, here's your present from Max Clifford. We was like, I thought you'd done that. She went, oh, no.
She loved being in control, didn't she?
Because, yeah, everything kind of in the day, like that, she was still getting a surprise as a bride because she obviously still didn't know what we were doing and we didn't kind of what we planned. So everything was a surprise for her during the day. But there was loads of tears, like emotional tears, sad tears. There was loads of happy tears.
Her
She didn't
speech
come
was
off the dance floor.
Yeah.
She was on the dance floor all night. She didn't come off, did she?
Even down to the sugar babe, she didn't know they were turning up. You know, she didn't hardly know anything herself.
It's like she'd saved all of her energy for that day.
Yeah.
Because after that, we felt like that's when she got really weak.
Really weak.
But that day, you would never really have known. And she had to keep on going off, didn't she, to have the nurses, like, top up her meds and stuff. But apart from that, she was on form.
Yeah.
But she was also trying to get as much money for her boys, so it was a job as well. Her wedding day turned into a job for her. So she had a magazine, we were doing the show. So it was an amazing performance from her. And the best bit for me was her speech.
Yeah.
I'll never forget her speech. She just basically said, I'm hoping for a miracle.
Yeah.
And it was, the whole room, like, even now.
Yeah.
Well, on top of all of that, there was the christening. So you'd had the hen do.
She fitted a lot in.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jen, what was the
christening, she wanted a big funfair. She really wanted it special for the boys because everything was about the boys.
Was this all planned at the same time as the wedding?
It was kind of, joint. But then, obviously, after the wedding, she really went downhill and, unfortunately, no, we didn't. We couldn't do those plans.
She kind of said, didn't she, that this would be the last party that she'd kind of ever throw her boys.
Kate, talking about those boys, I mean, when I read her brief, I mean, I don't even know I can ask you this question without crying, but as a mother, I know, as a mother, telling those boys, I mean, what was that like? Were you there when she had to tell the boys? What was that like?
Do you know, I saw her tell a lot of people, and she comforted everyone.
Did she tell them? Did she tell them, or...?
She tried to tell them in her own way. I think she tried a few times, you know.
I think it was more of like the wings, angel
Yeah.
kind of heaven
you're
kind of thing.
You're going to live
rather
with Daddy now.
Yeah.
You know, and it was awful.
She wanted to write a letter to them, didn't she, for them to open on their 18th birthday?
She had loads of things that she wanted to do, like towards the last kind of week, 2 weeks. And it just got harder with, like, just speaking, movement.
Yeah.
It's just...
Kelly, you said that, I know you said the boys were really young, so what do you do to keep the memory of Jade alive, and how do you think that she'd feel about them if she was here today? Do you think she'd be really
she'd be so proud of them. They're gorgeous. We love having them in our lives. We see them quite a lot. We have them for sleepovers.
Right.
We talk about their mum to them, tell them stories. There was a time when we wasn't sure if it was right, and we'd always ask Jeff what he thought. But we show them photos and we tell them funny stories. They want to know. Freddie, in particular, wants to know funny stories about
They're
his
so
mum.
like her.
Yeah, they're so like
beautiful
her.
boys.
The thing is, when you do start talking about her, you do have their full attention. Like, they do really enjoy it.
Yeah.
They do.
You want to hear it all.
And they're older now, so they've,
Yes.
they've sort of got their own phones and things. So we text them and they text us back.
Ignore
and,
us half the time.
Yeah, ignore it.
Get embarrassed.
We get on their nerves.
Listen, you all say that she would be proud of those boys, and so she should be. They're gorgeous boys, but also I'm sure she'd be proud of you, her 5 best friends. Because, you know, you've kept all your promises to her, and you've stayed in touch with the boys, and I think that's a real tribute to your friendship with Jade. And it's really lovely to hear your stories. And we know, obviously, how devastating the impact of cervical cancer is, but smear tests prevent 75% of cervical cancer. So if you haven't already, please go to our website now and pledge to face your smear. And more importantly, once you've pledged, make sure you actually go to your appointment, because so many people don't. And remember, it could save your life.